Hello, everyone. I'm JJ, and you're listening to the Keyword Crypto Podcast. We are crypto fans and crypto skeptics, and we are entirely donation supported. To find out how you can help, check out the description to this episode. Visit our website, www.keyword-crypto.com. Email us, keywordcrypto@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter @keywordcrypto. Drop us a line, let us know how we're doing and who you want us to have on the show next. On today's episode, we interview one of the founders of a new crypto business, and I just wanted to say we were not paid for this interview. This is not a promotion or any kind of endorsement. In fact, I personally was a little uncertain of this business until we started talking to him, and I got to learn a lot, and I hope you will too. So, without further ado, enjoy the show.
Sweet. Yay.
Love that part.
All right.
That's kind of fun. Good start.
And just like that, Bitcoin dropped $300. Woo! Sorry, we normally don't talk about price on this show, but I have it in the background right now. So, welcome everybody. We have another special guest.
Good to be here.
Somebody from Lolli, the Chrome extension app. Alex, would you like to introduce yourself to the masses?
Yes. My name is Alex. I am one of the founders of Lolli, and we created a simple way for people to earn Bitcoin for free when they do something that they already do, which is shop online.
Cool.
Which is great because, JJ and I were talking when I first pitched the interview to him, and we were like, oh, it's just, it's like any other cashback app. And then I was giving it more thought, and I realized this is literally one of the only places where now, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I signed up for it. I didn't have to do KYC to
No KYC on the onboarding. The very minimum KYC on the offboarding, like if you were to transfer your Bitcoin to another address or to fiat, we just need your name and email.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty good because I was just using the Cash App and I was sending some stuff to a different address. And this is the first time where they said, we need more information about you. And they already have my email. They already have a lot of they have like my social security number. They have a lot of this stuff because they kind of treat it like a bank. And they asked me where I work, what I did for a living. What am I doing with the Bitcoin? Am I an investor and am I a trader? And I felt really uncomfortable giving the Cash App all this information.
Hold on one second. As a listener of this show, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Like, really, tell me what this app is and what it does and why I want to use it.
Yeah, so the biggest reason you want to use it is because we make it really easy for everyone to earn and own Bitcoin. So I kind of look at it as like the app that I didn't have to share with my sister, my friends from back home, my mom, my dad. I think it's just like, and I also am like a fiend with it now. I'm personally addicted, but I'm biased. But basically, like anytime that you're buying things online, you should be getting rewards. And the world is very used to getting rewards on their credit card, for points, for their airline miles. And so it takes this, I think, difficult concept and something that seems risky, and it makes it really easy for someone to earn Bitcoin that either has it and wants more, or somebody that's new to Bitcoin that's never had it before. And it removes the need for them to, take the 7 days to be approved, for their bank account to be approved, to go through all the KYC and to get on board and into Bitcoin. We make it, as you saw, like it takes like 15 to 30 seconds to like get on board and start earning Bitcoin with Lolli.
So it's like Ebates, but instead of being rewarded in cash, you are rewarded in Bitcoin.
Exactly. And I actually used to work at Ebates. So the fun story is that they actually bought my team and I's last company. And so we've gotten the whole band back together and starting basically Ebates for Bitcoin.
So I guess
nice.
my first question is how does it work? How does a business like this make money? What's the business model?
That's a great question, because I think our biggest criticism is like it just seems too good to be true, and so we want to sort of dispel that, because it I love that. I think it does feel good. It feels kind of like magic, but there is a real business model behind it, and we do make money. We have to keep the lights on.
And the business model for any of these companies, I think a lot of people don't know how they work, and I don't actually. I think that I know, but I'm not sure. So I'd love to hear it.
For sure. So we go to merchants, and we say, when our users shop on your site, you pay us. So Walmart, for instance, like if you were to go to Walmart and you were to go buy toilet paper and bananas, or whatever's on your list of things to buy, Walmart pays us because you are a shopper, and you could have gone anywhere on the web, but you chose to go to Walmart because of Lolli and because you wanted Bitcoin. Yeah, so they end up paying us because this is a Lolli user. A Lolli user goes and buys something just as they normally would. They have the Chrome extension in their browser. They go to Walmart.com. They activate Lolli, and then they just shop as they normally would. And then Walmart pays us, and then we send Bitcoin to your Lolli wallet. And then you can, after $15 in Bitcoin, you can move that Bitcoin anywhere you want. You can send it to your own address. You can send it to your fiat US dollar bank account, and it's your Bitcoin is your Bitcoin.
15. I thought I read 50.
No, that's too much.
Did I read that? Okay, 15.
The 15's
nice.
for like fraud purposes. I mean, you can imagine all the schemes people could potentially run, but we try to reduce that because it ruins it for everybody.
So then,
gotcha. Yeah.
So Walmart will pay you to do some extra marketing for their products that they're selling. Is that the kind of thing that's going on here?
Yeah, it's sort of like it's like a loyalty model mixed with an incentive model. So one thing that people are very familiar with, and especially the retailers, which is our first side of the market. That we've really gotten, I think, more merchant adoption than just about any company, as far as like Fortune 1000 merchants go, and real like activity and real partnerships. And to get them on board, we had to really educate the merchants on why they should get involved in this Bitcoin space. And for them, what they're optimizing for is more sales. And so we brought them this proposition. We said, look, there's all of these people who want Bitcoin more than cash. They want to stack sats. They want to earn Bitcoin, and we're going to bring you this just amazing consumer that wants to earn Bitcoin, and so they saw it as a way for them to actually make more money and to attract a new customer that could have previously have gone to one of their competitors, Amazon, Overstock, anyone. So that's how we got the merchants on board. Is we painted it sort of what they were used to, which is like a point system. So they're totally used to Chase Reserve Card coming to them and saying, hey, look, we have an active engaged user on Chase credit card. This person wants to earn rewards when they shop. And so we came to them with a very simple value proposition that was very similar. And we said, instead of Chase Reserve points, we're going to give Bitcoin. And they said, well, what's Bitcoin? And we're like, well, it's very similar to points, but no one controls it. And we don't control the rules. And we can use it absolutely anywhere in the world. And it connects the entire world through commerce. And then, I've sent them books over the last year, and I educate them. But really, what they want is they're optimizing to bring in new customers, and then our users the consumer is optimizing to stack more sats to earn more Bitcoin. So everybody wins.
And to clarify, JJ said products. It has nothing to do with the products. It has to do 100% with the company, right? 100% of what I buy on Walmart, I get cash back on, not specific products. So Lolli isn't advertising products. Lolli is pushing towards specific brands, like companies.
Yeah, to companies. Right? So we have, we're nearing 1,000 merchants. We have, I think, just over 950 merchants on the platform.
Oh, wow.
And that's, we're 10 months in right now. So we've done pretty well, I think, to get real merchant adoption on the platform. And it's merchants that you shop at every day. It's Walmart, it's Overstock. We have Priceline, Hotels.com, Booking.com.
I think it's awesome that you're bringing this kind of adoption to a model that most people are very familiar with already, this sort of loyalty thing. I think it's, I guess one question I have is like, who are your customers? are they the people? Are they the people buying stuff, or are they the merchants? I guess it's kind of both. It's a very it's
Well, it's a two-sided market. So we really have two customers as far as the business goes. We have the merchants who we have partnerships with that we send them new users, new shoppers, and then we have the shopper that wants to earn Bitcoin. So yeah, it's a two-sided market, and two-sided markets have two customers.
So I guess I'll be honest and I say I've had a problem with one of your merchants with bonobos. I bought some shorts and nothing ever showed up in my
The
wallet.
product didn't show up?
No, the Bitcoin never showed up like a month and a half later. So I wasn't at this point. I wasn't even sure who to reach out to in this situation.
Oh, interesting. Well, no, you reach out to us. Yeah, we have an incredible customer service like team that helps people when things don't track. There's pretty common reasons why things don't track, and a lot of that it's like out of our control. So if you have like a heavy duty ad blocker, like an ad blocker Pro or something, that it won't track. Some people try to use Brave browser and that doesn't track.
That's me.
There you go. So,
but see, it always works with Walmart, but for whatever reason, Bonobos, it doesn't seem to. I'm logging in, it works. But see, this is a good thing that I think a lot of, especially people in the crypto universe, need to think about, because we're testing out all this stuff like Brave browser. Nobody outside of crypto that I know is using the Brave browser. Nobody.
Yeah.
So here's one of those situations where like I can't use Brave browser for Zencaster, which is what we're recording on right now. I can't use Brave browser for a few things. And so I think this is a reminder that to people in the crypto sphere who are listening to this, a lot of these things are being tested for mass consumption. And so if you're having a problem, maybe be aware that some of these things that we're testing aren't going to work well with each other all the time, because we're kind of beta testers.
Yeah, so the way that I like to describe it is and Brave's good for a few things, and it kind of like gives you some sort of control over your data. I think some of it's like overkill, because if you actually look at like cookie like technology, I guess it's probably like lack thereof technology, because it's kind of archaic. But basically, there's like good cookies and there's bad cookies, and there's like data sharing, good data sharing, and bad data sharing. There's some data that you want two websites to communicate between each other, and cookies serve as a way for two websites to communicate with each other. We need to go tell Walmart that user 12345 is on their site, and then Walmart needs to tell us that a user bought something. So we don't care what you bought. We just need to know how much it is, and that's what Walmart tells us. But we can't communicate with Walmart if there's like extreme ad blockers that are blocking our communication with Walmart. So what happens sometimes is like, in the case of Bonobos, they identified that we were talking to Bonobos, and they blocked it. And in some cases, for that can be a good thing, because when like there's malicious activity that two people can have if they're not like two legitimate companies. But there's also like, in most cases, it's like a good thing when two websites can communicate. So a lot of things break down when you try to strip away all like everything in the name of complete privacy. But we know that like most products are better when you don't have 100%, but when you have like partial and important privacy. And I actually think I love Firefox personally. I think that they've been an award-winning privacy browser way before Brave was, and we're live on them on Firefox. We're live on Safari. We're live on Chrome. Nice. So we're giving people a lot of different options to use Lolli in as many places as possible. And we're very, very concerned with privacy. My CTO, my co-founder, he's a absolute, I'll be nice, but like a privacy nut. And he won't build any technology or collect any data that we don't need. And we have this just rule of thumb. He's actually about to publish a blog post pretty soon that's just about like every piece of data that we do collect and how we're constantly challenging ourselves to collect less data. But our whole thesis is like, how can we collect the minimum amount of data in order to still reward people for what they're buying? And that's what like that's how we build technology. We build privacy first. I'm a big believer in privacy, and I do think that if you play the long game, like Apple has, you can be rewarded in a like capitalistic society by protecting privacy. And I do think that the world is going to start to care about privacy, and it's extremely important as a private company to care about your users' privacy.
That was loaded, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you guys are forward thinking now, it'll probably pay off in the long run, because I think like you said, our world is going to care about it. People are already caring about it. They just don't understand it yet 100% with the internet. And it's just now pinging their brain about privacy. And once they become educated, it's going to be like pretty high on their list. So
I think so too. It's gonna take a few more major events, which are going to be scary and probably sad, but that's how people learn. So,
they don't understand risk until they actually have risked something and lost something. I think being in crypto, we're like we know risk. we're risk warriors, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our risk is literally money. Like if we are not concerned about privacy, like, you know, we're protecting people's money. That's like arguably one of the most important things that, you know, you need to care about.
I was talking to a friend about Bitcoin, and it was very difficult to convince her to be careful with her keys, because she's just so used to not having any privacy when it comes to her money or any control of her money. She's so used to, like, if she loses something, she just goes to the bank and they give her all her money back. And so it's a very difficult thing to retrain somebody how to protect themselves.
I'm still fascinated by the business model of this, whether it's Lolli or eBay. It seems like a very 21st century thing to be like linking customers and you know, retailers. And in a way, you know, crypto is kind of this world where we've gotten rid of a lot of middlemen. We've made everything very peer-to-peer. And like what you say, Michael, most people are not ready for that. They actually still like a little bit of that custody, or they like a little bit of help, or if something goes wrong, they can go to their bank, or they can go to the, you know, the help desk or whatever. And then Lolli, it seems like what you guys are doing is, in a way, you're kind of being like super middlemen, but not in a bad way. You're actually doing something that is going to improve the commerce, right? I mean, that's the value that you are adding to this world, essentially, is you're getting people to buy the things that they need, and you're helping the businesses sell the stuff that they need to sell, right?
But they're also saving the businesses a ton of money and having to go out and find an advertiser and hope that that advertiser actually works.
They are helping doing some of that marketing, and that's the reason that these companies are like, oh, we want to work with you. And the reason that I actually like telling my friends and family about Lolli is because we all know that Bitcoin's going to go up, because the number goes up eventually. So I like the idea of my friends and family accumulating some Bitcoin without me having to tell them, go buy Bitcoin, you know?
Exactly. It's like, I hate giving people financial advice. It just feels like icky to me, and it just doesn't feel like quite ethical to tell people what to do with their money. But if you're getting it for free and you've taken out the risk, it lets people pay attention to it. And I think it trains them to do the most important thing, which is to do their own research. Like find, you know, read the white paper, like do some research about like what money is in general. And once people start to realize what money is, and they start to ask questions about money, and then they learn about Bitcoin, that's when they start to really value Bitcoin. So I don't necessarily know if it's going to be like the $50 a month that you can earn on Lolli that is the most exciting thing. Like, yes, it gets transaction volume up across the network. It does a ton of really interesting things. But we want to be around when somebody is ready to actually, you know, buy more and to start to invest in this new world, in this like digital currency, and this this secure store of value. And we also, you know, as I said, how, you know, we're playing this long game. We want to be ready for people for like when they're ready to start buying more, and we want to give them the ability to manage their own private keys when we eventually launch a non-custodial wallet. Like you talked about earlier, how we are this like middleman and we are this entry point and we are a custody solution. But over time, we want to teach people about, okay, well, we're holding your money very similar to a bank. And now that you're starting to value this money, what do you think about managing your own keys? This is how you do it. This is how you transfer it. This is how you coin join. This is what privacy means on the network. This is how you transfer it to other people. There's all of these things that once they have Bitcoin and they value that Bitcoin, then they can like start to learn more about it. But I don't think that just like giving them a Coinbase account and making people that were never investors or miners buy it, it's tough.
I think you're totally right.
It's tough to train somebody to just buy it. Whereas if they're earning it, it's a different experience.
That was always my biggest big complaint about Bitcoin is, why should I take my hard-earned money and go out and buy something for a fee to buy something for a fee?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that makes no sense to me as a consumer. And so I've always liked the idea, like, oh, you mine something, you're putting some energy into it. And that was my problem with Bitcoin for a while, was average people can't afford to mine it anymore.
Shop mining.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I like the idea of this way. It's like, this is a new way of earning some Bitcoin. And we interviewed the CEO of the Zengo wallet, which is, I think, the first wallet not to have to hold your keys anymore. Like, you don't have to hide your keys. You don't have to worry about your keys, their technology. So that may be something, if that's something you're interested in, their technology to look into, because I think that is also one of the hardest things of converting people to crypto, is saying, oh, by the way, you have to write down this seed phrase, and if you ever lose it, you lose all your money.
Right. It's a tough value proposition.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Alex, is like we can teach the world about crypto without them even really knowing about it, which is kind of nice. As a teacher, like I actually teach high school students.
Exactly.
And like the best way to teach them is to like secretly
Oh, cool.
teach them.
That's awesome.
Teach them in ways that they don't realize that they're learning.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Alex, can you tell us a little bit about your story in crypto and how you got into it? Because you said that you used to work at Ebates, but I'm just curious about kind of your story and how you, like, when did you discover Bitcoin and when did you get into it?
Sure. So it's been like a long time coming, and I feel like it just sort of it happened very serendipitously, and it started. I guess it started a while ago, but I was. I guess I was around 12 years old when I first started building video games. I think that was like I played video games, and then I was like, oh, I like Game Maker is this like cool. I don't know if you guys remember Game Maker, but it was basically like a build your own video game like creator. And so I was like building video games for several years, and I would just like build them for my friends. And then I realized I could make way more money by building websites, and so I started doing that. And I think from 16 to 22, I was building like websites, backend platforms, a lot of like stuff in like ad tech, and sort of at this intersection of like advertising and the creative side of advertising, microsites combined with like technology and really solving real problems inside of a business as well. While I was building and for other people, I was studying economics at Chapel Hill, and I was I got really fascinated with this idea of microfinance and its ability to democratize commerce. So microfinance gives, in my view of microfinance, is that it gives everyone in the world access to opportunity to either sell products or services local to wherever they are. And it creates a more equal world, and it balances out opportunity. So I got really interested in that as from both a technology perspective. I was studying the Kiva Institute, the Grameen Bank, and all the initiatives that they were working on. And so I started building a company that I thought embodied the democratization of commerce, and our mission was to democratize commerce. And the company was called Cosmic. And we built this e-commerce gateway that let merchants sell their products in different channels, whether that be a video, an ad, a app, a website, wherever people were, they should be able to buy the best products that were rising to the top of media. So hypothetically, the best products that are being talked about the most, people would be able to buy anywhere. So we ended up being one of the early creators of the buy button, if you ever heard about that in mainstream media, and built a really cool technology, and ultimately got acquired by one of our biggest customers, which was Pop Sugar, to come and empower a site called ShopStyle, which was doing 1.2 billion in retail revenue. We ended up growing about 10x post acquisition and getting acquired again by Ebates in a second acquisition, and that's where we learned about the cashback model. But backing up about 5 years, I was about 2 years into building Cosmic, and I was at a bar, and I meet a guy named Ryan Shea, who you might know as one of the creators of Blockstack and early Bitcoiner. And he had just, at the time learned about Bitcoin and was like telling me everything about it, teaching me about it. And I was just fascinated with.
So what year was that actually?
2013 or 14, I think. 2012 or 13 or 14, something around those. Yeah, around that.
Nice.
So I remember him telling me about it. Clearly wish I had bought that night, but I did a lot of research and it took me some time before I actually bought my first one Bitcoin, and I was paying myself like $30K a year with our last company, and I didn't have much to spend, but I remember just being like, I'm gonna buy one Bitcoin, and I'm just gonna like see what happens, and I believe in the principles of it, and so I just became like really fascinated with this idea that was intrinsic to Bitcoin, which was this democratization of commerce embedded in a currency. It was the first currency and the first asset that I had ever seen that everyone in the world could hypothetically own and use and transact with. And they didn't need anything but the internet to do that. And they didn't need a bank. They didn't need any real technology. They just needed to be able to transact with Bitcoin anywhere in the world. And that was just so powerful to me. All the stuff that I had dealt with on the technology side with like payments and banks and the inefficiencies of payments and fraud detection systems was just such a hassle. So I think my team and I got really interested. We thought we could apply it to Cosmic. It never really made sense. Merchants weren't interested in it as a payment tool, which I think we've seen over the years. And I'm really glad that we didn't become a Bitcoin company, because I don't think it would have been I don't think it would have been very successful or pervasive as we wanted it to be. But after Ebates, I kept looking at like what are the biggest problems in the space, and in my opinion, the biggest problem in the space was distribution. The world is not made up of a bunch of investors and miners. People shop. So how do you take something that is so important for the future, and how do you give it to the rest of the world? And so I took what I knew, and I know hundreds of these merchants on one end that I had been building relationships with and selling to for the last 7 years at the time. And then I knew how to build this technology with the same team that built our last company. And so got the band back together, and we just started building. So the kind of rest is history, and we're on a roll.
That's an awesome story.
Now, and ultimately the long-term viability of your company, as long as we can buy it on an exchange, your company has the ability to stay in business, right?
Yeah, that's actually a question that I had too. I was kind of like wondering what this is kind of dependent on for you.
Well, as long as we have an OTC, as long as there's a market for Bitcoin or crypto, I guess in general, all of the government hearings are scary, but I think they're sad more than anything. Like I look at Bitcoin as being this currency of like freedom on the internet, and I kind of look at I would consider myself like a child of the internet. Like I feel connected with the world through this technology that we've created, and I think it's so powerful that we can live in this world and we can talk with anyone in the world across borders, and that's just so powerful to me and to who I am and the things that I want for the future. And I think it's sad when governments get involved and are blocking this natural communication, this natural commerce between two parties. I think a lot of people are scared of what they don't know. And at first, Bitcoin is, I think, very confusing and difficult to understand why you would need it. And at first, I think it looks like you lose control when you have Bitcoin. But I don't think freedom means losing control. I think it means creating new opportunities with this new medium. And so governments that do not engage with it are going to get left behind. This is the next industrial revolution that's happening before our eyes, and I feel like I can't do anything but be a part of it. And I feel like you guys probably feel the same way. I think it's so important totally. On both ends of we need people educating, we need podcasts, we need publications, we need people building things, and we need to educate the world on this new money that's going to connect us all through commerce.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Nice.
So, that's awesome, actually.
Thank you.
Do you guys ever afraid of maybe copycats, or how do you guys deal? Do you guys have some sort of patent on this or something? I don't even know how that would work in this case.
Yeah, we do have a provisional patent on Bitcoin rewards. Okay. Ideally not. I wouldn't like to enforce it, but I believe in a free market. Yeah. But in the case that we need to, we clearly can and will. Yeah. So I guess younger me would have been more scared of competitors emerging. I have utmost confidence that our team is the best team in the space. And we've seen a few companies come up in the space, and I don't want to get cocky or anything, but it's just like I think that few companies and few founders, I think, see this as something much more than just a rewards like platform. So I've seen a few companies that have used Bitcoin as a marketing ploy. They've used it as like a way to get customers. But the real lasting value of this company is far more than just rewards. It's like giving people access to this new financial future and educating people on that. And unless you really believe in Bitcoin and this new future of digital currency, I fail to believe that you're going to be able to build a brand and a company around education that is needed to usher in this next generation of people that are connected through these digital currencies. So and to kind of expand on that, like our long view that I've been very open with for the last 10 months since we launched. It's actually it's only one part rewards, but eventually we need to convince merchants like Walmart to accept Bitcoin. So the way to do that is with leverage. Right now, we're generating quite a bit of revenue for Walmart and our almost 1,000 merchants. And when we can start to have real leverage where we're generating millions and millions of dollars, and we can go to Walmart and say, hey, why are you paying 2% for credit card fees when we can do this basically for free to transact between two parties? And if they can reduce credit card fees, one of their biggest set costs, and they can do it in a reliable, easy, seamless way, consumers can pay more seamlessly and maybe earn more back. Or Walmart can be more transparent in their pricing and reduce prices 1-2% across the board because they're not paying credit card companies to do something that Bitcoin can do basically for free.
I'm going to assume it's going to be the former, not the latter, because prices almost never go down. But I mean, that's not true because Walmart and Amazon are a perfect example of prices going down.
I think in a free market, prices drive to zero, but there's always has to be hopefully perfect competition. And right now, it looks like part of what I'm really excited about is providing more competition. Like Walmart is paying more than Amazon with Bitcoin, and so people. Our users, at least, are pro Walmart users over Amazon. And Walmart is a Bitcoin-friendly company, and Amazon so far has not proven to be a Bitcoin-friendly company. So hopefully the future will be decided by who aligns with the correct technology in the future. And I personally think Walmart's been super forward-thinking, and I really like how they think about Bitcoin and the people that we work with, at least. And I hope they, if they continue on this path, I hope they continue to win.
I mean, I definitely don't shop at Amazon when I don't have to, just because of how they treat their employees in America. But I have been, occasionally I do have to because I can't find that product in my city and I can't find it anywhere else. But if I have the opportunity, I always swing to a different store, especially if they accept, if they work with you guys. And I've been catching myself specifically steering myself towards those companies just because of the cashback reward. And even if it's tiny, like, 10 cents in Bitcoin or 20 cents or, a dollar, that stuff stacks up. It's stacking stacks.
Exactly.
Adds up. Are you guys planning on bringing or working with any other cryptos in the future?
I'm open to it. I'm personally like very long Bitcoin, and I think that I wouldn't. I want to be hesitant to give someone something that I don't believe has served value to society yet. And a lot of currencies, if I were to, every time I read a cool white paper or an intro to a new project, it's not an opportunity to just go shill and give that to our users. And we have to be going back to like our diligence with privacy. Like if we were to give our users a currency that ends up being, not launching or not proving it value to society, then we've failed our users. And ultimately, it comes down to like they can do whatever they want with their Bitcoin. Like we have plenty of users who are using it and going and buying Ethereum, going and buying EOS or whatever Zcash, whatever they want to go buy. I totally believe in a free market, and people can do whatever they want with their Bitcoin. I'm not stopping anybody. But as far as what we are building a brand around and what we are, educating people on, I think it gets too complicated when you introduce somebody. Let's just say, I'll just kind of pick on my friends back home. Like if I'm going back to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm like, hey guys, like, I download this app and here's this application that like gives you all these different currencies. It creates decision fatigue and it creates confusion around cryptocurrency. It's like, okay, well now I got to do all this research on these 10 different currencies about the best one to get. And I lose focus of why I'm getting into this space in the first place. And it's like, you're trying to game the system and turn a bunch of people that should probably not be investors into investors. And it's just a game of chance at that point. I'm more interested in Bitcoin as a, I personally, I think that it's the best technology. It's proven its value to society. It's an incredible store of value. It's I think an incredible medium of exchange for a lot of people already. And it will be in the future, especially with second layer solutions like Lightning or Liquid. And so if we can continue down that path and just educate people on Bitcoin, in the future, sure, like you can use a drop down and say like, oh, I actually want to earn Ethereum. I think for the time being, we will most likely be Bitcoin only for quite a while until I see another currency, another store of value, another digital asset that interests me enough to be introduced. That all said, I do have a long view on stable coins because I do think that they're going to be one of the best entry points into Bitcoin. And I'm really excited to see really Bitcoin be validated by stable coins and other cryptocurrencies that are looking to give people a way to transact anywhere in their native currency. And I do think that will bring a lot of people into the cryptocurrency space and give people digital medium of exchanges through stable coins to start. And yeah, I'm really excited about a lot of stablecoin projects. If would love to hear you guys take on that as well.
Well, I mean, I asked because I think you're definitely in a very difficult situation because, you don't want to have somebody pick something that goes to zero and then they didn't get any cash back by using your service and then they blame you for that because you gave them the option. So I think that's very smart on your end to kind of pick currently the most stable one, the most consistent one, and pretty much the safest one when it comes to store value. But when you said you eventually want to have people be able to use it for payments, that's when I started thinking like, okay, well, 2017, 2018, $50 per transaction, blah, blah. You have stuff like Nano, you have stuff like, and I'm not shilling anything, but like, I know somebody told me that Tron wallet to wallet is free, XRP, Stellar, all super low transaction fees. That's when I was thinking that it might get a little dicey at that point if the fees start to outweigh the money you actually earned.
That's actually something to think about if we do have a spike in transaction fees again, which we might not.
Yeah, that's why I'm really excited for second layer solutions. Like right now, Bitcoin is great as a store of value, and that's like what Lolli is really based on at this point. It's not based on anything else other than that. And I think we're far away from the full evolution of Lightning Network and the full evolution of other competitive solutions. I think that team is super, super smart. I'm really excited for what they're building to help Bitcoin scale. And I don't know if Bitcoin needs to scale on chain. I think Bitcoin is incredible as it is. Second layer solutions, on the other hand, I think are extremely important to give them, I guess make Bitcoin better than it already is for other use cases. Yes, there are other currencies that operate more efficiently, but then you give up certain things. They're centrally controlled. They do not. I guess people can go and control Tron. People can go and control all of these other currencies. They're not truly decentralized. There's value in mining. There's value in proof of work, and I don't know if solutions like that yet have proven their value to society yet.
And I don't want to put you in a situation where you're like, we're picking this over that for this. I was more, because right now, if I was going to give somebody a reward, I would want to give them the number one coin market cap. This has been this is the top. It's pretty much always been the top. It's the safest thing to give away and expect there to be long-term value. That was just something that popped into my head because once payments, I feel like when it comes to payments, when it comes to actual peer-to-peer payment platform, I feel like that could be a whole discussion for an hour. We could debate about Lightning versus,
we're actually very critical of Lightning and Liquid on this show. But then it's one of those things where it's like,
no, that's great. I think it's great to be critical. I invite it, and I'm not building it, but I do believe in it long term that it's important. And I also, you and I, you two, the two of you are in different, optimizing for different things. And I think that it's incredibly important to educate yourselves on it and to research it and to talk about it. Like, if I was in your position, I would be talking about all the things, and it's important for people to hear about all of these different things and learn about all of these different things so they can come to their own decision. I'm in a different position where it's if you were right now, if you were in my position and you were to say, hey, Alex's mom that just is learning about Bitcoin or something like that, would you give my mom $1 in Tron or would you give her $1 in Bitcoin? And I would argue most people, if they had to bet their life on it, would give people Bitcoin right now because it's de-risked, and yet it still has upside.
Yeah. And especially when it's your business name on the line, you don't want to jeopardize your business name until that's a proven commodity. And so I am saying I think you made the right decision to do that. I think when it starts to come to payments, then I think you have a whole, can of worms you're going to be digging into. And I don't
totally
envy the decisions you're going to have to make when you get to that line. But I'm happy that you're doing what you're doing, and I'm excited to see where it goes next, because I think there's the natural evolution of with Zengo last week. I didn't think I'd ever find a wallet where I didn't have to have control of my keys, but I still had complete control, and they didn't have any control over my money. I didn't think I'd ever see that day. So like, I feel like people like you, people like him, people who are actually working in the space and dealing with actual customers on a day-to-day basis, these are the people who are changing the ecosystem for the better. And that's why I wanted to have you on so bad. Because I feel like people aren't fully understanding, oh, cash back, great. No. This is for dirt poor people who make 5 cents a day or whatever, can go on and buy something that they would normally buy and actually get Bitcoin. That's huge. That's really huge. Like, they don't have to go out and buy Bitcoin.
It's big. Yeah. I appreciate you guys seeing that.
I also see, I mean, I think we're getting pretty lucky for like all of the scams in crypto and just the shitty projects and ICOs that are just there to take people's money. And in the world of the internet, where there's so many scams and there's so many just, businesses that are created just to, I mean, like, for instance, just I'm thinking of like Ebates and Honey. They're the similar business model, but they're basically just exist to scrape a little bit of money off the top or off the side or whatever it is. And that's what they're doing. And I'm hearing from you that you obviously care about the Bitcoin economy. You obviously care about educating people. You believe that it's a train that can't be stopped. You also believe in things like stimulating competition between businesses and bringing convenience to customers and all of these things. And I feel like, in a way, I'm super grateful to this sort of crypto space for being able to do that, making a space where people can build businesses where they actually care about what's going on. And I think that's really cool. So
thank you.
And I mean, I feel like there are so many other places in our world of commerce and our kind of like cutthroat capitalism where you just don't get that kind of like simple care for, oh, wow, I believe in the way things could be. Let's all kind of point our direction.
Yeah, because I mean, when I look at Honey, I don't think, wow, these guys really want me to get the best deal. I think it's a company who they're making their thing. They're making their money.
And nor do you think that like they're gonna teach me about how to manage my money. Like, no way. They're not gonna teach you how to like store your rewards or like how to transact them. So I think it's great that, and you mentioned Zengo last week. It's the same thing. It's like they're not just creating something so that they can just sell it and make a ton of money. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but at least in this case, it's like, oh well, we're also changing the world. So
we're trying to. So it's I think it's important. I want to live in a better world. I trust that you guys want to live in a better world. I feel like life is pretty short, and we only have a few opportunities to like make any sort of real impact. And I don't see much value in wasting time building things that don't make this world a better place.
So many people do, as long as it makes them a buck. And that's one of the things that's just kind of a little bit disappointing.
Short-term thinking.
So you mentioned that you guys want to potentially not be a bank, but be able to allow people to, were you saying you want to eventually have them be able to buy and sell through your app?
Yeah, so that's one of our future products. So the next product, the next major product, we have a lot of features. We ship about it every week or two. We're shipping new features, but one of the big things is launching a mobile application that lets people earn on daily purchases. That's going to be, I think, a really big for encouraging people to like earn right away. So if you could go download the app and then go earn Bitcoin back on your Starbucks or Uber ride or gas purchase, that gets really exciting. And that's one of the biggest features that people have demanded or products people have really requested. And so once we have a Bitcoin wallet on both web and mobile that's super active, that's really what we're building. We're building the most active Bitcoin wallet. So once we have an active Bitcoin wallet on both web and mobile, then it'll be up to us to say, look, a lot of our users already, even in the first 10 months, are basically leaving the platform to go buy elsewhere once we've convinced them that Bitcoin is a great currency to own and something good store of value. And once we've taught them about Bitcoin, and they've done their research, now they're going to like a Coinbase or a Kraken or a Gemini to go buy that Bitcoin. But if we're their first wallet, then why wouldn't they just buy more Bitcoin on Lolli? Especially if they could, easily do it from their phone, from their website. So I'm pretty excited about that, giving people more ways to get into Bitcoin, and then doing things with that Bitcoin. So are they able to like lend it to other people and earn interest on it? I kind of look at the future of personal finance as being an abstraction layer of banking. And in order to understand that, I think you have to understand how a bank actually makes money. So banks are, constantly lending their money out, and there's financial systems in place for them to make a lot of money off of us holding money there. And going back to kind of what you were saying earlier about your friend and her, comfort in knowing that the bank's just going to protect it. It's like there's a lot of people in place to that it's very, very expensive to operate these banks. But if we can be our own bank and we can have these services that are protecting this money and we're making more money because we are the bank, then if you could take your own personal margin of what you're spending to operate your own bank and to protect your keys, and you're the one who's like actually lending out and making near 100% of what a bank would make if they were lending out their money, that financial future gets way more interesting, in my opinion, if everyone can like lend money out and be their own bank. And operate similarly to a bank or a pooled group of individuals making, a bank being
micro
Bitcoin.
lending is huge for poor people around the world, and that could be a great opportunity for for poor people around the world to actually start to be bankers as well with the small amount of capital they have.
Exactly, full circle to microfinance.
So, Alex, can I ask a question that I think will be a good last question for the interview? Do you guys have any?
For sure.
Okay, so.
JJ,
I just wanted to make sure,
dropping the hammer.
I'm going to wrap it up. Well, I just think it'll be a good way to lead out because, Alex, you're obviously a person who is very creative and very entrepreneurial. And I feel like, and this question isn't actually necessarily related to Lolli, but other stuff that you've done. I feel like there's a lot of people in crypto who are fascinated by crypto, but they're looking for, maybe they are or they aren't, looking for a way to get involved, but they probably should if they're not. And I wanted to ask you, one of the things that we did is we started a podcast. So I wanted to ask you what your kind of advice for somebody would be as far as like getting involved. Like, what are some things that people can do? Because it sounds like you've thought of a lot of them.
There's so much you can do. This world's like has near endless opportunities, and we're all connected. There's so much information online. It's really like for someone who is like naturally curious, and just wants to learn. I find it. I just don't. If you have access to the internet and you don't know, you're not like finding something that you can do or some sort of value you can add. I just think it's lazy. I love that you guys started this podcast. I love that you guys are active on Twitter. You're sharing your thoughts. You're joining sort of this like hive mind that is like sharing information and what you're learning and deciphering new projects. And it's just so important. I think, everybody has something that they can like add to whatever you're passionate about. It doesn't even have to be Bitcoin or crypto. It could be running, or it could be, working out. It's just like, there's a million things that can like add value. So I don't know. I think there's like so many good resources out there, like learn a craft, become an expert in something, and then, share it with the world. So my thing has been commerce and building technology. And I think, partly economics and the combination of all of those things. And that led me to build Lolli. So I think it's been like a longer road than it seems like. I think people see this project and they're like, oh, it's like, cashback rewards application. It seems simple. It's like, launched 10 months ago. But part of why I started at age 12 with the story is I think it's like a summation of a lot of moments of being curious and learning new things and finding what I wanted to build. And this is my favorite project I've ever worked on. It's a thing that just makes sense to me. I could be building this for 50 years. And I think most people would be very happy if they had a job or if they were doing something that they could do for 50 years. So it didn't come overnight, even if it seems like it. So I'm sure you guys feel like that when when you have a new listener and you have like when somebody is engaging with like what you guys are putting out in the world. So everybody can. It just feels good, right? Like you're adding value.
Yeah. Of course. I guess that's the thing. Is just look for the places that you can add value.
That's JJ's favorite word, value.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Because I'm always looking. I'm always looking. How can I add value to the world as a human being? Yeah, that's it.
So Alex, do you want to tell us how people can find you?
Yeah, so it's lolli.com, LOLLI.com. I am Alex Adelman, and that's my Twitter handle as well. And then we're super active on Twitter. Try Lolli is the handle. And yeah, we make it really easy to earn Bitcoin. So share it with your friends, family, and I'm super accessible. My DMs are always open on both the company account, personal account. If anyone has any questions or needs anything, I'm happy to jump in and answer it. So thank you guys so much for all the thoughtful questions and having me on. And look forward to staying in touch.
Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care, guys.
Once again, we were not paid to host Alex or Lolli. We are entirely donation funded. So to support us, check out the description to this episode or visit our website, keyword-crypto.com. Hit us up on Twitter @keywordcrypto. Drop us a line. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the Keyword Crypto Podcast.